going on.
That's a good
thing. Hey,
thing.
Everybody. How's it going? Tonight, we got Justin Sharpie with us from Driftless Glen. We've got Shane Long, or Lord Shane Long. So tonight, we're going to talk Driftless Glen barrel picks and story time and everything we've got going on, because it's a big week for us this week. So sit back, relax, and we're going to talk Driftless Glen and have some fun. How's it going tonight, guys?
I'm doing great. How about you, Justin?
I can't complain, man. The weather's amazing here in Wisconsin. It's not snowing, so anytime it's not snowing, anytime it's not snowing, we're having a good time.
Yeah, I always tell Shane, if I could not have to shovel anymore, it'd be great here.
Yeah. We're trying to fix that.
Yeah, I always tell Shane, if I could. Oops, hold up the mic, sir. Look at me with my own technical difficulties.
Well, I can tell you this, Justin, we are so excited. The community behind us is also extremely excited, not only for what Storytime represents and what we're trying to kick off, but even more specifically, this Driftless barrel pick. Everyone's we've got a lot of really good feedback, so we're excited to be a part of that, and can't thank you enough for helping us get this accomplished.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I've been looking forward to this weekend for quite some time as well. I'm trying to think when we actually started getting the ball in motion here. Hey, here's a new guy.
Yep.
Mr. Klein.
But yeah, so I can't wait for you guys to get here. I wish it was Friday afternoon already. I've already penciled away Friday for you guys, and then obviously Saturday up at the distillery, and looks like the weather may cooperate. Yeah, we're excited. For me personally, I always love doing new picks, right? So I'm sure you guys have seen some other picks of ours out in the market. This is obviously our first time together, and right. I couldn't be more excited. This is why when people ask why I love to do what I do, it's all about building these new relationships. If I just dealt with the same 6 people every single week and every single month and every single year, I don't know if I'd be in the industry. So with my role at Driftless Glen, overseeing the state of Wisconsin, and then every now and then I get into situations like this where if you happen to reach out to me or vice versa, then I tackle it from there as well. But this is my favorite part, and I can't wait to meet you guys, face to face. Thank goodness coronavirus is, quote unquote over, so we can finally get people back up to the distillery.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. I know we've all been talking about the last couple of weeks, waiting for it to get here. Now it's almost here, and it's like, is this real?
It's real.
So, Justin, real quick, the other guy that joined us, his name is Michael Klein. He runs a channel called Destination Bourbon.
How's it going, Mike?
Good, Justin. How you doing, man?
Doing well.
Yeah, he's part of Storytime as well, and so he'll be joining us. We're just ecstatic. I mean, I don't even know. We've been talking about this, like, it's just we're fired up. And look, a barrel pick's a barrel pick. I've done one before. These guys have, I think, done them as well. But what we're really excited about is, the opportunity to engage the community in this process. We're bringing along a guy who has never done one before, for sure. Actually, a couple of people, but one guy has a channel by the name of Trev Wilson. His channel is called the Bourbon Wrench.
Sorry, guys.
He's very prominent in the community, and he's super excited and ecstatic to come. But we also, like I said, we opened it up for a charity night to open up one of the spots, and the guy that's going to be joining us is by the name of John Trombetta, and we're super excited to get him in there too. And again, we're going to be doing a lot of video. Just because we want this to be such an engaged process, so people can see kind of behind the curtains what goes on a little bit, and so that they can feel like they're part of the experience as well. Did you cut him off?
No, I think he's having some technical difficulties.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm back. Give me 1 second here. My darn alarm went off on me. I'll admit I'm 38, so I'm right in that age range where I kind of grew up with computers, but not really. So anyway, sorry guys. I literally missed like that whole story.
Oh, you're all right. You're all right.
All
I
I
still
heard,
love you.
all I heard was you're really excited about it, and you got a new guy coming out. It's first ever barrel pick, and you couldn't be more excited. So that's where I left off.
I think you got the gist of it. So, like, we've all been on barrel picks, and we're excited to come down and see you and see how you guys do it and what you do. We've got a couple of newbies coming with us too. One guy that won a charity event to be there. So it's gonna be good for the community, good for the group. We're just stoked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like I said, I've got Max. So we have two head distillers up there. So we have Max and Nathan. Neither one of them really wants to claim that they're, the head. It's kind of co-head distilling. They're both 28 years old, self-taught. So, either we're really lucky or really good, but I'll take either one. But yeah, so Max is going to try to make an appearance and stop out and say hi on Saturday, which would be really cool. Unfortunately, not everybody loves to take pictures with me when they're up there. They're like, hey, is Max or Nathan around? Because we could care less about the sales guy. Fair. But I always make sure to thank those guys because obviously without them creating the juice that they do create, my job would be a lot harder, in all honesty. It does help when we're peddling good booze. And Max has got some really good samples for you guys. I think I had him crank off like 12 bourbon and 12 rye for you guys just for fun. Normally barrel picks with me, I usually just bring 3 out, right? So 1 through 3, usually we find something great in those 3. So we should be feeling pretty good by the time we crank through 24.
So, Justin, is this all your own distillate?
Yes. So we're completely 100% grain to glass. Driftless Glen has never sourced a drop of its whiskey.
Okay.
So it is all grain to glass. I've had a few guys tell me, they're like, dude, no way you guys are making this stuff here. That still is all for show, and you're just trucking it in at night. So you'll see when you guys get up there. We've got a 42-foot Vendome column on site, which is one of the largest columns in the Midwest. We also run a 550-gallon copper pot from Vendome as well. So we have quite the rig for a family-owned craft distillery.
Yeah, wasn't your system was designed by Mr. Pickerel, correct?
It was. I'll admit I was not around in the beginning. I've only been with Driftless for 4 years, and we've been around for 6. But yes, he was part of the consulting team before we opened our doors.
So
Nice.
Some of the oldest stuff that you guys have there is probably 6 years old.
Pretty darn close. We're like right there, which is great. This past year, so after the first of the year, we were finally able to get into that little different sandbox, if you will, where everything we're going to be trying is going to be 5 years plus. Though I'll admit, in my travels over the last few years, I feel like age has kind of become less of a number. More people going, hey, dude, as long as it tastes out, right? We just want your best stuff. If your best stuff is your 4-year, well, let's see what that tastes like versus just saying, hey guys, we've got a 5-year age statement.
Yep.
Versus I'd say 4 years ago when I first came on board, a lot of people kind of had that attitude. If it wasn't 5, it wasn't legit.
Yeah.
And now it's, depending on where you're getting it from, some places are having trouble finding 5 now.
How has your stuff changed from what you first started to make to what you're making now?
Definitely a lot more flavor, much better coloring when you look at some of our old bottles we have on display up at the distillery. Admittingly, our 2-year bourbon kind of looked like 2-year bourbon, even though at the time we were pretty excited about it.
Right.
But you'll see the coloring and the coloring that we have on this stuff right now has just been phenomenal, whether it's a 30-gallon or a 53. So we started out barreling 25s, then we went to 30s. Now we're exclusively 53s. Oh, nice. Which pick is that?
That is a Benny's pick, so 62-month Benny's pick.
And I'll admit, so I never managed the Illinois market. However, the one thing I can tell you is Benny's was one of the first places down there in Chicago. They were ripping our 53-gallon barrels right off the jump, I believe, which was pretty impressive. A lot of my accounts up here in Wisconsin, they loved it when I was peddling those 25s and 30s. A cast strength bourbon or rye would only yield 13 to 15 6-packs. For a local independent liquor store to do their own barrel pick at that small of a yield, they were digging that. I've had to get a little more creative this year now that we've gone to 53s on our bourbon, though.
Is your mash bill still the same, though, as when you started?
Absolutely, yeah. So our bourbon's going to run 60 corn, 20 rye, 20 malt. And our rye is, Jesus, it's been so long since someone asked me this question. 75 rye, 25 malt. Sorry. Yeah, no corn in our rye.
Okay. What would you say separates Driftless from the other, I guess, fish in the pond, so to speak?
Oh, man. Thank you for one of the most difficult questions to answer in this industry, right? Because so many of us follow the same process, right?
Of course.
Admittingly, I guess my answer to that usually, because the question usually stems, what separates you, let's say, from a new riff? Okay. A relatively similar operation, similar in size as far as the machinery they're using or the stills they're using and what we're using. Really up until we move these barrels into the rick house, it's just the climate, and the water. We did land in Baraboo because of that water piece. It was one of the better water sources that we were able to find in Wisconsin. We also we were able to just lock down, as you guys will see, gorgeous property right on the Baraboo River, right? The mist and fog will roll into that rick house right off the riverbank and roll in there in the mornings. And it's really cool. But as you guys know, unfortunately, we need those, warm days, cool nights, and Wisconsin does not have as nearly as many of those as Kentucky does. So, we actually are expanding our rick house most likely next year just due to the cost of construction materials at the moment. And we're actually going to do a climate controlled rick house just off our main rick house.
Until you put that up at the bottom, I thought this was a private stream. I had no idea that there were people watching. I'm literally just asking questions for me. I'm like, I just want to know.
That's perfect. Those are the best questions to ask.
Yeah. So again, it's, I'd say, I'm not as familiar with a lot of my competition specific mash bills, but 60 corn, 20 rye, 20 malt. I mean, that sounds, fairly traditional from what I've gathered. We get our grain, we get this asked a lot. Does our grain all come from Wisconsin? It does not. We get our grain from Hodgson Mill out of Effingham, Illinois. So our corn and our rye comes to us from those guys, and then our malt comes from Breeze up in Chilton, Wisconsin.
Okay. Right on. I'll tell you what, that barley definitely comes through on the rye. That's where you get that nice chocolate flavor from on that rye. It's really predominant in the ones that I've had.
Yeah, I mean, and to touch on the ryes for a second, I guess, all the experts will say rye doesn't necessarily have to spend as much time in the barrel, right, to kind of create some of those amazing characteristics. But and I won't be shocked if you guys tell me this on Saturday. And a lot of the feedback we get right now from the guys that really know their stuff about whiskey, they're like, dude, your bourbon is really solid. We really like your bourbon. We really do. But your rye is something special. Makes me wish every now and then that the rye market was as hot as the bourbon market, because we would be really on fire.
Yeah. I have a couple different expressions or ages of the barrel strength ryes. I got one from Aman's that's 43 months, and then I got a 52 month from Binny's. And there's definitely a difference in how it's developed over time. And, you can ask these guys. I've been talking about that rye for a few months now, once I got the older one. And it's different than everything else out there. And it just stands out ahead of everything.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of the feedback I get. And it was funny. We actually just had Aman up at the distillery for a few cocktails. So much love to those guys out there. He's a big deal down there in southeastern Wisconsin.
Yeah. I'm super excited to try the rye. I mean, the thing is that rye just kind of, I don't know if it gets a bad rap or if it's just a lot of people, it's not their jam, but there's some ryes out there that shit stomp a lot of bourbons out there. So I'm super excited to try your rye.
Yeah, and of course everything. I'm assuming, are you guys going to want to go cast strength, right? Is that the conversation we have?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If you even bring water close by, we'll probably smack it out of your hand.
All right, fair enough. I won't bring any water, and thank God I'm driving you guys home then.
That's right.
You're driving us home? Why, this just keeps getting better and better.
Oh yeah, I've already.
Yeah, he's driving us there and driving us back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
we're 24 barrels. We're going to need a ride.
Yeah. So I already enlisted the services of my girlfriend. So she will drive one car. I will drive another.
Nice.
Fortunately for us, she doesn't drink a whole lot. So that car's okay.
Yeah, it's a little questionable.
I'm just kidding.
I love it. I love it.
We're always professional, it's always professional.
Of course.
And admittingly, I guess, again, and you guys will notice this once we get up there, I love having guys like yourselves up there as well. I've been in the liquor business for a decade, but I really didn't drink whiskey at all up until 4 years ago. And my first sip, believe it or not, of bourbon was actually in my interview with Brian, our owner, and his wife, Renee. So I was like, okay, let's sell this stuff.
That's awesome.
Right on.
Well,
so what did you do?
Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, what did you do in the industry before you switched over to selling bourbon and rye?
Yeah, so I spent 7 years with a company called General Beverage out of Madison. So I had a territory in the Madison market. Well, I started off in Podunk, where they put all the new guys out in the boonies selling a lot of Yellowtail and Barefoot and Carlo Rossi. And then I finally got moved up to the big leagues to go hang out at the Woodmans and the festivals and the metro markets of the world and some more of the larger independents. I'm sure you guys have heard of McFarland Liquor before up here in Madison. Nathaniel over there does a great job as well. So did that, then did a brief stint in medical sales. Ooh, I'll tell you what, spinal implants are not as much fun as selling whiskey. So I had to step away from that. Admittingly, I was just, it was hard. I give those medical sales guys, man, they're not overpaid at all. It was a pretty serious gig. So I found my way back to the liquor side of things, and I couldn't be happier. I'll admit I didn't really want to go back to the distributor side. It was becoming a little too repetitive. You just have the same route every single week and and this is really cool. I'm one guy. I manage the entire state of Wisconsin. So really any liquor store, any bar, any restaurant, anyone that sells any booze is my account. So tomorrow I'll find myself in Milwaukee. The next day could be up in Eau Claire. The next day I could be in Superior, and then back down to hang out with you guys on Friday.
Nice.
Put a lot of miles on now.
Yeah, you can do that driving around Wisconsin.
Yeah, I do about 40,000 a year, so it's fun.
Nice.
But so that's my background.
Yeah. So what's some of the best feedback you get about your product?
I usually get, I'll take this as good feedback, what I'm about to say. And I love it when people go, wow, that's actually really good. Like, okay. Appreciate it. I guess I'll take that one. So that's my favorite one. Again, right? I mean, admittingly, we don't have a sexy zip code, right? My zip code is not Louisville, Kentucky.
Right.
So, we got to combat that a little bit. There's some other, while that's really smooth is usually the most common, especially when we're ripping the 125 proof cast strength stuff, it just goes down and the burn dissipates so quick. But again, the tricky part too is, when we're tasting it, everybody has their own opinions. These barrel picks I've been on over the last 4 years, my goodness, some of the flavor profiles that people throw out there, I'm like, where in the heck did you get saltwater taffy belt leather and like shoes? I'm like, what it's kind of like John Candy in the Great Outdoors when he's sitting there talking to Uncle Roman, and he goes, I ask you, what do you see out there? And he goes, I just see trees. So, but yeah, and of course, to give some props to some other distilleries in Wisconsin as well. Jay Henry, I think, was one of the first ones to really kind of put Wisconsin bourbon on the map, and they've done just such a phenomenal job. It's really helped us kind of get into that next level as well. So a ton of respect for what those guys do. It's unfortunate, of course, they, from what I've gathered on the street and talking with the family over there, darn brand exploded and they're low on juice. But they're slowly getting caught back up, which is good. But phenomenal family over there. if you guys ever get a chance to go check them out, they're about 20 minutes from our distillery as well, and gorgeous property.
Mm.
But they're probably in my top echelon too. People always ask, other than Driftless Glen, we get it. You love Driftless Glen, right? I'm like, well, I kind of get paid too, right?
Yeah, they do a nice job over there.
But we're really fortunate. Our two owners, so we're owned by a husband and wife, Brian and Renee Bemis. So for those of you that are on here from the Chicagoland area, people always ask, what the heck do your owners do that allowed them to build a property like this and lay down the amount of weight that we have? We have just under 5,000 barrels of whiskey laying down. As you guys know, that's not cheap. That's not cheap to do. So we're really fortunate. So Brian owns, I want to say 8 or 9 car dealerships in the DeKalb Sycamore area. So that's Brian's background in the car business. Renee's an accomplished sculptor. So she's done some really cool stuff around the entire country, like the War Dog Memorial down in Charleston, South Carolina. So she does like life-size sculptures, which is really cool. Now, because of COVID, Brian had to step back into the dealership pretty much 100% of the time. So it's really been Renee just running the show, which is really awesome. So it makes us one of the few female-owned as well and operated distilleries in the country. And she's been a ball to work with. So I report directly to Renee, and we just run and gun.
Do you guys do anything finished?
Anything finished? So right now we at the distillery only, we have our port finished bourbon. So we were supposed to launch it nationally, or I should say the states that we're currently in. We're not in all 50 states at the moment. But unfortunately, due to COVID, our empty port barrels got stuck at port. So we just got them about a month ago. So we're not going to be ready for a September release, which is unfortunate. I wanted to rock that, obviously, right before the holidays. But it is what it is. I might just wait till it's perfect and launch it the following holiday season. We did do a smoked malt. I'm not sure if we have any of that left. Again, a lot of these, anything finished is going to be distillery exclusives. Okay. That you can only get at the distillery. But as far as just general market, it's just our bourbon, our small batch bourbon, small batch rye, single barrel bourbon, single barrel rye, 5-year brandy. We do a cucumber lemon and regular vodka. We do 4 gins. But yeah. And then I'm sure someone's going to go, well, okay, you just mentioned other states. Where are you guys, right? So currently we're in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky, South Carolina, Maryland, California, Kansas, Michigan, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and then we are just getting ready to ship product down to Florida, Texas, and I just found out the other day we're launching Oklahoma in September. So
Nice.
Pretty excited. I actually had a group like you guys that I've known for years from Oklahoma fly up in their plane and do a barrel pick this past weekend with me. So they'll be the first guys in Oklahoma to have a barrel pick. So they were pretty jacked about that. It's funny. I met him 4 years ago at Whiskey Fest in Chicago. I gave him my card, never thought I'd hear from him again. And now we talk. They come visit me once a year.
That's crazy because Shane told us we couldn't use his plane this weekend. So that's ridiculous.
It's got to get maintenance,
Well, geez, these guys flew up in their plane.
Yeah, I got to fix the landing strip out front.
Oh, yeah. It's always your landing strip. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's that oil money down there.
That's it.
Oh, shoot. Well, so you say you're in South Carolina, but I tell you what, I've never seen it here.
Yeah. So, that's the hardest part with this gig, right? So we currently use a broker by the name of Citadel. They handle everything outside of Wisconsin. I am the only actual Driftless Glen employee that's out in the market, right? And I just handle Wisconsin. And from a financial piece, that's the route we kind of had to go. It just doesn't really make financial sense, I don't think, to hire someone like me in every state. However, 1 second here. So it's been kind of a process, right? I mean, it's a lot easier to sell this stuff in Wisconsin. I'll tell you what. I don't know if I envy those guys too much, having to run around the countryside and go, because I can play the local piece, right? So we're working on it. It's just a process. I got to remind those guys all the time. Heck, our first year first year I was on board, we only did, I think, 700 six-packs in the entire state of Wisconsin, right? And that was like, whoa, man, that's not a lot. And I should say I came on the back half of the year. So whereas fast forward to last year, we did 7,400 six-packs in the state of Wisconsin. So substantial growth there. And then right now we're on pace to almost double that again. We'll probably end up somewhere around the 12.5 range in the state of Wisconsin. Probably end up, the rest of the country will probably do about, I think, probably 9, 8.5.
Yeah. So but, that growth is 100% attributed to you, right, Justin?
I wish I could take all the credit, right? I would like to think I have a decent part in that, but again, always a team effort. We've got an awesome girl in our office by the name of Abby, our marketing girl, Beth. They spend every day up there. I'm only up there by appointment only with guys like yourselves. Because as Brian once told me when he caught me sitting around there, he goes, "What the hell are you doing here? You can't sell anything from the distillery." I'm like, "Fair, got to go." And then, of course, the boys in the distillery. You know, without them making good juice, we would not have that kind of growth by any stretch of the imagination. Right. And again, I have no idea how big these whiskey clubs are. You know, again, not being a huge whiskey drinker, I had no idea the amount of buying power you guys have. And it has been instrumental. You know, the incremental cases that I get out of barrel picks every year with whiskey groups has just been phenomenal. So, and I've been really fortunate. Excuse me. A lot of our main, you know, the Woodmans of the world up here in Wisconsin, the Total Wines. We're in every Costco in Wisconsin. You know, without the support of those guys, you know, you need those high volume. Don't get me wrong. I always have a lot of love for independent liquor stores. You know, that's where my heart's at. But man, without the big dogs, our growth would be a little tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you, we you know, initially we were thinking it was going to be, you know, ideally we do maybe 1 barrel of bourbon, 1 barrel of rye, and starting to get the feedback from the community and like, whoa, those are going to be gone instantly. So then we started saying, well, are they going to be open to maybe 2 barrels of bourbon and 2 barrels of rye? And so we've actually got a sign up sheet now. I think there's a link somewhere that Chris put up, because we're trying to gauge, because we're not collecting money from anybody yet, but you know, we're just trying to get an understanding, is because the worst thing we could do is overbuy, right, and then have a bunch of bottles that we're sitting on, but at the same time we don't want to like way underbuy either, because then you're just gonna have a bunch of people in the community pissed off. And really that's kind of the purpose of Storytime, like I said, is that engagement, that community engagement. So we really want them to experience what we experience. You know, we're called Storytime for a reason, and it is about that story. So we want to share it and grow it and spread it around, and then bring other people's stories into the fold. So yeah, it's like I said, the feedback has been fantastic. We're super excited about it, and yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Chris and I today have been going back and forth, and just the hype is for us is building. You know, we're feeling like this is going to be a big breakthrough for the community, because, you know, one of the things we experience, and I know you're aware of it, but, you know, you get into the allocated world and you start talking about all these unicorn bottles and things like that. And really the premise for what we're doing is to try and get really good whiskey in people's hands so that they can experience it, right? We want to get them stuff that's available. We don't want to go and say, oh, hey, we're going to go do a George T. Stag pick, and by the way, you'll never get to try it. That's just not our aim, right? We're not, this isn't a profit-driven community either. You know, one of the biggest things about us, when I say us, I mean the Whiskey Tube community, at least the one I'm part of, is we're extremely charitable. And that to me just like resonates so loud with everything we do. And you know, again, I don't know what else to say about that. It's can't thank you enough. I'm excited to see what you guys have got going on, and to see really kind of the community's response, because that's the other thing too. We're going to be able to get bottles in people's hands that normally couldn't get their hands on stuff like this. So that to me is also a really big motivating factor.
Yeah, and one thing that's really nice too. So we're really I'm really flexible too, which is really cool. So let's just say you guys get up there. And I'm always willing to work with people. So let's say we get up there and we find 4 that we just love, but maybe some people haven't responded yet or earmarked that they want a bottle or anything like that. Maybe we just have enough for 2, but we found 4 we really like. I never have an issue. And because we're a pretty nimble operation, I think I mentioned this to you guys on our phone call before. I mean, I can get this sucker turned around in less than probably 3 weeks from your pick, right? Meaning if we just want to, get the top 2 out right away, we can always rip 2 more as soon as you guys get the demand. I can always earmark those barrels for you. So that's always an option as well in case people don't get back to you in time or you're not quite sure. But yeah, so can always do some creative stuff.
That's awesome.
However,
I like hearing that.
Yeah, well, I will say this. I have had a few guys in the last couple of years be like, we like this one. We like this one. Can you save this one for me? I'll call you in like a month. And then 2 years goes by. I'm like, bro, come on. we got to get going here now. But it's not the end of the world either. So, but you'll see this when you get up there. Actually, we just got an automated bottling line. So unfortunately, with the growth, we've got one poor kid named Casey who literally just sits in a bottling room all day with a 6-bottle manual pourer and just filling bottles by hand. The poor kid's gonna jump off a bridge pretty soon. So we did just purchase an automated bottling line. So I'd say in the next month or 2 we'll have that up and running, and Casey will be breathing again. So that's fun. Always growing.
What's the climate like between you and say some of these other smaller distilleries out there? Is it pretty brotherhood kind of thing, or is it? What do you feel when you talk with people from other small distilleries?
I'll admit, because of kind of how I think based off of you reflect your leadership at times, and Brian and Renee are undoubtedly win, right? We're very competitive. Don't get me wrong, I've got a lot of respect for a lot of people in the state of Wisconsin. I think we do it better than a lot of people. We carry ourselves that way. Our facility is better than most. We carry ourselves that way. Some guys do it good. Some guys, I'll be honest and won't name any names. But we definitely, if you were to ask me, I carry myself as if we are one of the top distilleries in the state of Wisconsin. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And we are cordial. Absolutely. You tend to have better relationships with certain people. Like I said, I'm very close to the Henry family. I've known them for years. I speak with Joe Jr. often about what we're both seeing in the market and what we're seeing going on in the streets, and play off each other a little bit. Other than that, I'll admit I don't have a whole lot of contact with any of our other competition.
All right. Keeping those things close to the chest. I get it.
Right on.
So yeah, it's it does get interesting sometimes though when one of your bosses is a career used car salesman, if you will. It's always you could have done better. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, we doubled the business again. He's like, well, why didn't you triple it? I'm like, geez, okay. So, but they're amazing people. I wouldn't want to work for anybody else. That helps you get out of bed in the morning when you know Brian and Renee are looking at those numbers every day. So
yeah.
Well, as long as you're outpacing the market, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you come to my end of the year review?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd appreciate that. That'd be awesome.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is he a big fan of bourbon himself, or just?
I think he's become a fan. I would, believe it or not, I've never actually asked him, his background with bourbon. They initially got into this as they were initially supposed to be silent partners in this adventure. Okay. I think he was kind of the bankroll, if you will. And their non-silent partner, from the stories I've heard, just it wasn't for him. I don't think the trajectory right off the jump was what they expected. Of course, sometimes people go, oh, we're just gonna throw some stuff in a bottle and sell a ton of it. Well, when you can only sell gin and vodka for the first 2 years, you guys have been in liquor stores. There's a few vodkas out there.
Yep.
So, and especially if you're not priced correctly and things of that nature, you got to be right there in that $19.99, $16.99 in vodka. And if you're not, it gets tricky. So as I've been told, the story goes, he wanted out. Brian and Renee had two options, cut and run and sell or go full throttle. And Brian and Renee are definitely full throttle people. And they said, let's make this happen. Let's make a run at it. Let's go. It's really too bad again. COVID hit because if I had to put money on it, I think Brian was getting ready to potentially walk away from the dealerships, and they want to do this full time. Renee's in it full time. Brian, of course, with COVID, had to go back to the dealerships 100%. But my read on it was he was getting ready to, let's move up to Wisconsin and let's. This is going to be our thing. This will be our last feather in our cap of a very, very, very successful business career. And that's another reason I mean, hey, if you're going to work for someone, work for someone that's successful. That was one big piece of my wanting to come on board so bad is, I just want, you can learn a lot from a guy like that and a woman like that who's been very successful in just about every aspect of their life. So yeah, phenomenal folks.
I don't think I've ever seen Shane and Klein this quiet before.
That's a lie.
Well, I mean, honestly, I thought we were just having a phone call, so I'm not really sure. I got a FaceTime from Shane. Yeah, I got a FaceTime from Shane at 7:55. Hey, bro, we're gonna get on a call with Driftless Glen. Can you make it? I'm like, yeah, I'm just sitting here eating Ben and Jerry's. I guess I can make it. Let's get on. And I get on here and I just jump on, and I didn't have chat up or anything else. Then all of a sudden I see everyone, please take a moment to follow Storytime. I'm like, why the hell is he putting that up? That's kind of strange.
Yeah, he could have just told us three that,
Yeah, I'm like, you don't have to put that scroll across the bottom. That seems a little self-serving, Chris, but that's all right. Throw it on there.
Man.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to surprise you.
I'm just trying to give you that real sense that we're on live, keep you on your toes.
Hey, I just, you got to keep me on my toes, man. I'm good with it. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not great at technology. Are there actually people watching this right now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's 21 other people watching right now.
Oh, hey guys. Well, hey, I can't see that. So, well, yeah. Hello to all 21 of you.
Yeah, whose channel is this on? Is this on yours, Ludwig?
Yeah, it's on mine.
Okay. See, I'm not even sure what's going on.
Yeah, this originally was going to be an Instagram Live, but this was a lot easier for Justin to do when we were talking about it really quick of how to get it done. Because I usually do my distillery stuff over on my Instagram, so this was pretty impromptu. Yeah. I threw it together in about 35 minutes. So,
well, hey, we had a real good question asked in the chat there. Why Driftless Glen as a name? Where's that come from?
Oh, geez. So sorry. Great question. So we're in the Driftless region of Wisconsin, right? So the area the glacier did not travel to, right? So when we roll up there on Saturday, we've got gorgeous bluffs and hills. It literally goes from flat Wisconsin to rolling hills and bluffs. So if you guys have ever heard of Devil's Lake State Park, we're right. We're 8 minutes from there. So that's the Driftless Glen. I always just like the joke. It's Brian's brother's name, and he got left out of the business, so we decided to throw it on the bottom. But yeah, no. So that's where Driftless comes from. And then again, because we're in that region, right? A lot of sand, sediment, limestone, all that jazz. As far as from a water piece. But people has asked, do we pump the water in from the river? No. It's
filter out the hypodermics, do you?
Yeah.
No. Straight from the glacier. I get it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. We've got one of those out back. Makes for a great story.
Tap into the glacier like you tap into a maple tree.
Yeah. The glacier was probably the most expensive piece on the property.
Yeah, I understand.
We had to import that from Alaska.
Yeah. Those things aren't just lying around. I get it, especially nowadays.
Yeah, we got a giant freezer out back.
Nice.
You can get one on Amazon, right?
Oh yeah.
For I think like 12 million, you can get half a glacier.
Yep.
We're in business.
This is off the rails. That's hilarious.
Yeah, now we're talking about buying glaciers. Uh-oh, crap. All right.
People are going to be like, what? Really? Amazon glaciers?
Anybody who's signed on late and missed the business side of this meeting, now we're going backwards.
Oh, I can only imagine what about Saturday around 11 o'clock is going to look like. There's going to be some good conversations going on.
Yeah, I would definitely try to go live. I'd say about 3/4 of the way through, or maybe we'll go live on our way back home in the car.
Oh, that'd be great. It'll be like a Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, that can be some Instagram live on the way back in the car.
Absolutely. I've had people take naps in the car. I've got some other good stories from barrel picks I'll save for a different day. But
so for those people that are watching, Justin, what can we and what could they expect if they were coming on this pick? Like how would this look to them starting in the morning and then going through that process?
Yeah, so we typically get up to the distillery. We walk in, right? We have a full restaurant, full bar. So normally depending on how serious you are about your palates, some people are just up there to have a good time and pick a barrel. And we usually start with a Bloody Mary or an old fashioned, and we cocktail it. I give you a tour of the property. So we'll go through the back history of the company. Then we hop into the distillery where the magic happens. We cover some of those bullet points on what makes our distillery special, right? Mainly the size of our equipment. From there, we walk right across the parking lot to our rick house that currently warehouses about 3,300 barrels. And then over to our auxiliary warehouse that we just purchased, where you just get to see a bunch of grain sacks and, bottles and things of that nature. Then we hop across the alleyway there, and that's where all our shipping and receiving is done. And we have all our pre-packaged cases for our distributors to be shipped out whenever they put in, their general orders. And we have our bottling line in there. From there, we go back in. We've got a really nice VIP room that we're all going to hang out in to keep us kind of away from the hustle and bustle of the restaurant, especially on a Saturday. So we'll have a room to ourselves. I'll have about 1 million Glencairns sitting there with you guys. I won't bring any water. I might toss you a few oyster crackers just for good measure. And then typically, depending on what you're feeling, we either have lunch afterwards on the property. Or there's a great pizza place. Some people aren't into some of the things we do. We do have a rather high-end restaurant. I'd say it's definitely more Madison-esque or Chicago-esque that you don't typically find in small-town Wisconsin. So some people, depending on how much they've been tasting, they're like, dude, I could just go for a pizza. Just give me a pizza. Or they're like, hey, I want some crab cakes. So depending on what they want, I facilitate those needs, and we go have lunch and shake hands and give each other a big hug and high five and celebrate the pick.
Hell yeah.
I don't know that there's ever a time I don't want crab cakes, so
I better double check that we have crab cakes.
Yeah.
I'll admit I don't.
You just brought it up.
I'll see what I can do. I might have to order those in for you.
So what are you drinking on there, Justin?
I just have a little bit of admittedly, my favorite for just the sipper on an evening, stream call, our small batch bourbon.
Okay.
So this is I actually just received 3 bottles of our new pink label that will be launching in October. So a portion of the proceeds from every bottle sold will actually go towards breast cancer awareness. So it looks just like our original packaging, but blacked out label, which is really cool, and then neon pink with the windmill and the Driftless Glen. So we're donating $1 for every bottle sold, and then our distributors in Wisconsin are also going to do match that $1. So $2 a bottle. Admittingly, depending on how many cases of this stuff I can sell and our distributors can sell, might be donating a lot of cash here coming into October. So
that's one thing too that a lot of people may or may not know about Storytime. So part of the proceeds, so 10% of the proceeds from I guess you would say the profit goes back to a foundation that then gives back to different community charities or deserving, needs. Is he having a tech breakdown again?
Oh, no, I'm good. Just,
okay.
The old phone's about to die.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll figure it out. 1 second, boys. Sorry.
No worries.
Oh, no problem.
Klein must have taken his shirt off. He had to turn off his camera.
I'm just glad my girlfriend is outside with our new. We just got a new puppy, and if that thing was in here right now, we'd be in deep trouble.
I just went outside, didn't want to run through the house Blair Witch style like Justin.
Nice. All right, so I'm almost back, boys.
That's awesome.
Hope you enjoy my old school paneling on the basement ceiling.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's very Wisconsin.
Very Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's what happens when you.
Are we going to have some access to some really good cheese curds while we're there, by chance?
Oh, absolutely. I'll get some cheese curds for you guys Friday. So when we're hanging out down by the boat, and
gotta have some squeaky cheese.
Oh yeah, there's a company up here called Car Valley, and it is absolutely, in my opinion, the best cheese curd in the state of Wisconsin. So
something else. I did a big project is it Reedsburg?
Mm-hmm.
Reedsburg, for a company there called, I don't remember the name of it right now off the top of my head, but anyway, doesn't matter. I got introduced to a sausage or a meat stick called Landjagers. Have you ever had Landjagers?
That does not ring a bell.
I'll see if I can't get some to bring along with me. Although the ones I'll be bringing along will not be as good as the ones I had there because they were actually made out of venison there. But Landjager, it's German for like a walking stick, something like that. So it's basically it's a meat stick it doesn't have any preservatives in it, so you got to keep it refrigerated.
Oh shit!
And it's just so delicious. So I'll be bringing some of that with me for sure.
I would like to get through one live stream without you talking about sausage or someone's meat stick.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that line. I didn't know if I was the one who should make that comment. When he's like, I got some great sausage.
I know. He's like, oh, guys, let me tell you, I got some sausage. I'm like, okay, here we go again.
With that story again. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll make sure to get some squeaky cheese curds for you. And
squeaky cheese and Shane sausage. Boy, that's a combo.
Yeah, and I'll bring some bottles of Driftless down, and we probably shouldn't get too crazy Friday night, but that's up to you guys.
What? Well, I can tell you, I'm not drinking at all this week. Like, if I do, it'll be 1 or 2 drams. That's it. Just because I need my liver to survive this weekend.
Yeah,
that's a thing. Like, we should not drink for a week.
No, I'm just saying it's.
Unless you're in the top tier of liver CrossFit, no.
Oh, I am. I punch my liver all the time just to make sure it's in tip-top shape.
Fantastic.
Don't you go quitting on me.
Oh, yeah. I get him. I have to jumpstart him every once in a while. He's like, wants to bow out. I'm like, nope, not today.
Yeah, I feel like someone punched me in the liver after the Oklahoma boys were up here. I had a work event on Friday night out in the boonies that I took them to, and I had to ride a mechanical bull. And the guy cranked me off that thing so hard, my back feels like it's broken, and I have a bruise on my hip the size of a cantaloupe.
I love that. I had to ride a mechanical bull. They put you at gunpoint on a mechanical bull?
He made me do it. The owner's like, dude, you're going first. And I hop on. He starts playing Highway to the Danger Zone, and I'm like, oh god,
go get him, Maverick.
Yeah, I said that's not the right song. I don't like this. Oh, yeah, felt every inch of 38 after that ride.
Mm-hmm. Felt every inch of meat stick after that.
Wait.
But it's got to be your bowl.
I was gonna go with another quote too. I'm like, dang it, I gotta kind of be semi-professional here.
Get a good look at a T-bone by. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
gotta be your
right. Got that right. Awesome. So, how much of the tasting are you going to be joining us in on? Like, are you going to be tasting any with us or no?
Yeah, I'm with you the whole day. I mean, I'm your guy. So
well, yeah. I didn't know if you were going to sit there and watch, or if you're actually going to be.
No, I taste the entire time with you, mainly and admittingly I keep my comments most of the time to myself, because as I would consider myself very much a entry level whiskey drinker, even though I sell the stuff for a living. I just admittingly, I wish I had the cash flow to just go buy a bunch of bottles and try a bunch of my competition. I do not. So I enjoy sitting there picking my favorites in my head and then seeing if it lines up with you guys who really know your stuff and have been part of picks before and have tasted other stuff, and just to kind of see where my palate's at. So, but yes, I'll be right there with you guys the whole time. I'll never leave your side for 48 hours.
Well, lots of meat stick come to mind.
Yeah, I'll even if you need me to tuck you in at the Avid Hotel, you know.
Hey, at least drag me into the room and shut the door. That might.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I will be with you guys the entire time. And tasting right alongside with you. And like I said, hopefully, fingers crossed. Obviously, Max and Nathan don't typically work Saturdays, but I've been begging him for the last few weeks to be like, "Hey, man, can you just stop by, just say hi to the boys real quick, and take a picture?" And
that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, because obviously people love meeting that. Like I had to remind him, I'm like, Max, no one wants to meet me. Like, I mean, when you're up there, you're like, cool, we get it, Justin. You don't do a dang thing other than sell this stuff. Like, where's the artist? Where's the guy that makes this stuff?
You said they're 28 years old. 28 That's fantastic.
Yeah, both, believe it or not, self-taught.
That's freaking fantastic.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. So,
someone else has a young distiller too. I think it's the Jeffersons who does the Jeffersons distilling, the Artisan Distillery out in Kentucky. There, I think they have a really young distiller as well.
The Jeffersons, that's George and Wheezy.
Yeah, and then they got a real young kid, right? That's doing distilling for them too.
No, that's from the show, The Jeffersons. Moving on up, George and Wheezy.
Oh, God dang it! Come on, man.
I'll admit that went right over my head.
You're like, oh yeah, that's them. Yeah.
So listen, okay. I would love for Klein to tell the official story instead of my interpreted story of what happened in New Orleans not a week ago. So Klein, if you would please indulge us.
What are you talking about? Which one?
Just the whole experience, the watching the guy run from the Keystone Cops to the whole thing. It was a great freaking week.
Oh, unbelievable. Yeah, we're kind of hanging out. We're walking down the streets of New Orleans, and all of a sudden we see this dude go sprinting across the street, and like two cop cars come running down, and they jump out, and this guy's literally running in circles. And the police, instead of one going one way and one going another, they're chasing behind him in circles. So this guy's running. These guys are running behind him. It's like all in my head, I'm hearing. They're running around, Finally, the one cop catches him, tackles him, gets his arms behind his back. Then like three other guys get on top of him, and they're sitting there. And all we hear the guy yell is, "I did not stab that man." So then this guy comes walking over, hold his side. He's got like a shirt around his side. Comes walking over. He's like, "That's him. He stabbed me."
Jesus
Christ.
There's two ladies standing on the street. "That's the man. He stabbed that man. I saw it. I seen it." I'm like, I said, "Shane, this is what it's like in New Orleans for you all the time." He's like, "No, this is the first for me, man."
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen in Baraboo.
Yeah, it was crazy.
No, chased by some clowns, probably.
Yeah. So then So then we go to the Sazerac house, and so I did a Jay Mattingly pick.
Okay. Wow.
And on the sticker that I did is a COVID-19 sticker, right? So we go into it's called Destination Vaccination. So we go into the Sazerac house there to go on the tour of everything they've got down in New Orleans. And the lady says, "You have to have your vaccination card or you have to wear a mask." I'm like, I don't want to freaking wear a mask. And my buddy that's with us is like, I got my card. She goes, well, you can have a picture of your card. And I go, oh, I got a picture. So I have a picture of the back of my whiskey. I mean, it looks like this. I showed the dude at the door of the picture.
Kleiner, hold that back up. Yeah, so everybody can see where it says MGP and yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The doctor's name is Destination Bourbon.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my.
where it says patient name right here, which on mine I didn't write anything. On the picture that I had, it said Lord Schlong. So I show this to the guy at the door, and he looks at it. He goes, "All right, go on in." So we're all laughing about it. Then we get to this lady. She's inside like the official person, and she's writing all the stuff down, right? So my buddy shows him his card, shows her his card. I show her the same exact picture again. She goes, "Okay, here's your sticker." Sticks it on me. Shane's going, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
That's about how it goes.
Yeah.
That was right.
Yeah, the back of the whiskey bottle got us in. It was fantastic.
Brilliant.
Only in New Orleans.
Oh, we laughed and laughed. I mean, in huge letters, it says Destination Bourbon. It says that
Lord Schlong. I like
Lord
Lord
Schlong.
Schlong.
Yeah. I'll see if I can hear. I'll show you the picture so you can see that it literally says Lord Schlong on it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, this is hurting my ribs.
Yeah, like, that seems legit. It's like a glare, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, Lord Schlong.
Lord Schlong. Freaking stupid. Yeah, I'm Lord Schlong. Let me in.
Yeah. And here I am. I'm the one idiot with a mask on. And he's like, well, why didn't you show him this? Because I had the pictures. Why didn't you show him the picture? Man, you'd already beat me to it. And I was just baffled that it worked. I was like just dazed and confused that this just happened. And they're like, oh, yeah, come on in. I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was good times. Good times.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm looking forward to this, man. I think it'll be fun, Justin. I appreciate you guys laying out the red carpet and rolling out 24 barrels for us. It should be fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you don't have fun after 24 barrels, we got a pickle on our hands. I mean, even on the way off chance we don't find anything we love, we're at least going to have fun after 24 samples.
That's right.
We sure better.
That's right.
Yes.
The anticipation is for sure we're going to find more than we're probably going to have some debates, I imagine, at the end, because when you get that many barrels, which is great, but there's going to be certain things about certain ones that someone's really going to like, and we're going to have to really kind of work through that to pull the trigger on. Okay, here's number one, here's number two. But that's what makes this fun, right? So super excited about it, and again, I know the community is just clamoring, and once they get this in their hands, based on everything I'm seeing and hearing, and I can only imagine it's just going to get that much more demand for your guys's your product. So that's pretty exciting. Absolutely. Unless we pick some real turds, which we might do that too. Who knows?
That's the other pickle that tasted 24. All of a sudden you're like, this one tastes amazing.
Yeah, it's number 12. It's the worst one.
Man, that sucker's smooth. That's way smoother than number 1.
That's right. For sure.
Well, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to meet you guys in person. Like I said, it's my favorite part, hands down, of the job, is meeting new people and hanging out with new people, and I couldn't be more excited. I'm already taking Friday off pretty much. I think, right? You guys are rolling into town somewhere around noon or something, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be down by the hotel, probably by the boat. So like I said, you guys literally you can see the water from your hotel. So we'll be down there, and I'll have the beers on ice, and we'll get ready to rock and roll.
Pre-game. Now, unfortunately, Klein was supposed to be with us early on, but he's had some work stuff pop up, so he's actually not going to be able to roll in until probably like 9 o'clock or something on Friday.
At the latest. I'm going to try to get out of here. It's about a 6-hour drive for me. I'm going to try to get out of here as soon as I can to get there. So
yeah. So we were hopeful he was going to be there the whole time because we had a big thing at my house. It's been a few months ago now. And we just, a group of us guys kind of all came to the house and hung out for a weekend. And we just all got really close. It was like, my brother, my best friend from school. It was really weird. I'll be honest. Cause it's people that we talk to, we interact with on YouTube, but we don't have that real personal and personal relationship. And when we get together, it was like, yeah, this is like my brother. So I know when Klein told me, he's like, I think he texted me, I don't remember what day it was. He's like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it Friday, until Friday. I was like, oh man, like we got to make sure he's there. It's so critical because he's in part of it, and I want him to be part of it. And it sucks because there's a lot of guys that actually couldn't make it, and for various reasons, of course, you can't have 20 guys at a pick either. So trying to figure out who's going to be where, and oh man, what a pain in the neck to try and, because you don't want to exclude anybody, right? And we had one guy who's having some health issues. I was trying to get him to come too, but it's probably better he just stays put, gets healthy, and come around on the next one. And then we got some guys out on the West Coast that, would love to be a part too, but they just, again, timing and everything. So, anyway.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to meet you guys in person. So I feel like we've been talking for like a year about this, right?
It feels like it. It really does.
Phone calls. I'm like, man, I just want to meet these guys already and crack a beer. Let's go.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah, guys. Well, yeah, I'm jacked too and can't wait. I wish it was freaking Thursday night already. But unfortunately,
we're getting close, man. And I don't want to take any more of your time because we're going to take enough of it this weekend. But I want to say thank you for taking the time to come on with us, hype up what we're doing a little bit, give everybody a little background about Driftless that doesn't know. I appreciate everything you've done for us up to this point, and I can't wait for this weekend and everything else we're going to do.
Yeah, my pleasure. And a quick shout out to the 20 or so folks that are still watching. If you have picked up a bottle of Driftless Glen before, obviously, thank you so much from all of us. As it kind of goes, like when you go on an airplane, right? We know you've got options. So anytime you vote with your wallet for a bottle of Driftless Glen, we really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. And again, that's why we put in the time that we do to, build these relationships with you guys and hopefully go the extra mile for you and make your experience memorable. So can't wait to see you.
Ditto.
Thanks a lot, Justin.
Take care.
All right, boys.
Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Be safe.